with Bayley where she wants her. KOD! And Belair says, watch this.
Welcome to the most must-see WWE talk show in history. Welcome to Miz TV.
Hey, TBK here. Got another episode, another good one for you guys. WWE Smackdown live show commentary reaction. We'll cover Smackdown tonight for January 12th and have a Wrestle Week news. I would like to focus on a particular superstar, but that rest of that information will be detailed later. But other than that, we'll cover the show tonight, let you know what I think of the show and everything else of that sort. And definitely see how things go. But other than that, let's get into it. Let's cover what's been going on SmackDown. Thank you all for coming out. I am also on X and also on Rumble. So thanks for checking me out, guys. And I'll be over there for a little bit, but mostly I'll be on YouTube, Red Carpet Reign, and Rumble. And I'll be X for a limited time only. So come on over to the Red Carpet Reign on Rumble or YouTube. With that being said, let's get into it. So let's cover SmackDown tonight. So, see what it says. We have Cameron Grimes versus Grayson Waller, Bayley versus Bianca Belair, LWO versus Angel Garza and Humberto. And of course, these are the matches that are highlighted tonight. But before that, we had the main focus is, of course, Randy on LA Knight, AJ Styles. As we already know, they are going to compete against Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble, which is coming up January 27th. It will be, I believe, 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from tomorrow. So that will be coming up soon. I know that'll be a great event. But these guys are supposed to be tagging along the opponents against Roman Reigns. They will be tagging along tonight. So we will definitely see more about that tonight. Now, let's get back to the show. Also, before the show started, it says here that the Bloodline attacked Cameron Grimes. He's supposed to be scheduled to face Grayson Waller. There's Solo Jimmy installed him, and then this is due to them being upset that Roman has to defend his championship in a four-way match at the Royal Rumble, as I described there. We just saw on screen a couple of seconds ago. Now, they came to the ring. They tried to bully Nick Aldis, tried to goad him into changing the match. And he just simply was not going for it. Just said, hey, I'm not going for that. The match is going to stay the same. Roman Reigns will defend his belt. And then he added the tag team match will be LA Knight, Styles, Orton versus the Bloodline. They have to find a tag team partner. And Nick Aldis is not being intimidated by any means. So I like him as a GM. Nick Aldis is doing a great job as a GM. I believe that, him being a great GM will bring more flavor to SmackDown and WWE. We so used to Adam Pearce being a pushover, doing whatever anybody asks him to do, not having any kind of backbone compared to Nick Aldis. So salute to Nick Aldis for not taking anything and making the show entertaining and being a great GM. And I don't know if to consider him a face or a heel, but he's definitely not one to let anybody walk over him. So that's definitely the case with Nick Aldis. So Nick Aldis, Nick Aldis is not taking no stuff in this match. He said if there's nobody to team up with the Bloodline, that it will be a handicap 3-on-2 match. So that's what happened for that particular moment. Let's go down the line and see what happened. And then he also told Paul Heyman that they're not equals. That you basically better fall in line because I'm the GM of SmackDown. I run things, not Roman Reigns and not the Bloodline, just him. He made clear Roman Reigns as well. Because Nick Aldis was also saying it's the second match in the last 2 weeks that the Bloodline is ruined. And that's what made him bring up the match for tonight. It would be, tag team match. They can't find anybody tag with them. Then he will, of course, make it a handicap match. XL Pro, salute. Thanks for coming out, bro. I appreciate your support. All right, let's get back to the program. Then we had the match of tag team match, the first match of the night. We had tag team match LWO versus Santos Escobar lackeys, I call them, which is Angel Garza and Humberto. During the match, Carlito attacked Santos Escobar. So this was a very good way to kick off SmackDown. Good way for these guys to have a feud. Santos is sitting there at ringside. The LWO, they was doing anything. It was Joaquin Wilde and Del Toro, if I said it right. So I had a good high-flying match. Garza and Humberto finally getting some TV time. They'll pass around from the main roster between SmackDown, NXT. It seemed like WWE finally found a spot for Humberto and Angel Garza. But I still call them Santos Escobar lackeys, to say the least. So, since they are the lackeys, they had a good match. Like I said, it was a good, solid match. And Santos Escobar was talking crap about Carlito. Where's he at? He's always around somewhere. And he attacked Santos from behind. They was going out to the crowds and stuff. And, Angel Garza and Humberto were distracted, like, where's Santos going? Now, Garza got the win for the team, but he held on to the ropes. He cheated, and he snuck right out the ring. Particularly heel moves. Always hold on to the ropes to get the win. But that was interesting. That was the first night of the SmackDown. First night of SmackDown. First night of the match on SmackDown, I meant to say. And then, of course, after the match, we're seeing Jimmy Uso and Solo from the Bloodline freaking out of who's going to team with them for tonight. But Paul Heyman was asking around who's going to team with him, and it turns out during the whole night that nobody wanted to team with the Bloodline. Everyone kept turning them down. No. They'd rather fight against the Bloodline than with the Bloodline. I think Bobby Lashley said that too. He said, if anything, I want to be across from Roman, not on the same side with him. So a lot of people was turning that down. They was like, no, we do not want to team with them. No. So he looked upset. That Paul Heyman looked upset, looked concerned. Then Solo also said too that, Jimmy was more worried than Solo. Solo said he ain't worried, and then Jimmy was like, if he's not worried, I'm not worried. Paul Heyman was like, I believe in the Bloodline. You guys got it. But he was telling nobody wants to team with him. Thus far, no one was agreeing to team with him. So I found that was interesting, as the Bloodline has so much disdain from the locker room. Whether it's a heel or face, nobody wants to team with the Bloodline. Nobody wants to team with them on a 6-man tag against Orton, Styles, and LA Knight. They got so much dislike from the locker room, but not one person wants to team with them. Doesn't matter who it is. Don't matter if they've been a veteran there. Don't matter if they're new. Don't matter if they've been in the middle as far as popularity and been there for a little bit, but not as long or short. It does not matter. Nobody wants to team with the Bloodline tonight because they got so much disdain for them. They do not like them, and they screwed over so many people. And we saw that in the beginning of the match that Cameron Grimes was going to start before his match started. He was attacked by Bloodline, and Nick Aldis got tired of it. That's how many enemies that Bloodline has created over the course of now going on 4 years. So, meanwhile, one of the people that did reject him was Carlito. Carlito said no. He said on press he won't fight Santos Escobar, and he's the first person to reject it. Then, of course, we got the Kevin Owens, Logan Paul tease. We got it that match. Logan Paul will be on the Kevin Owens show. He will be on the Kevin Owens show. It'll be Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. They're going to have a little settlement thing, whatever, and he'll get ready to prepare for their match at the Royal Rumble for the United States Championship. That is going to be Kevin Owens challenging Logan Paul for, due to Kevin Owens winning the United States tournament, defeating Santos Escobar in the finals last week. So that's going to be interesting as well. Meanwhile, on SmackDown, we have something about Tyler Bate and Butch. You know, they're allies again through their history in NXT. And Bate mentions Butch having a rough time lately. And Butch has said he's need a tag partner for the night. So Butch says that the Braun Bruce on the pass. So it seemed like they're putting, I wonder if he's going to go back to Pete Dunne. I seem like the whole Braun Bruce is over. Ridge Holland went back to NXT. Sheamus is still out with a shoulder injury. And Butch is on his own, maybe team with Tyler Bate. I would like for him to go back to Pete Dunne because Pete Dunne was very entertaining. Better than this Butch. So, I don't know. I wonder if are we going to get a comeback of Pete Dunne. So I wonder if we're going to get a Pete Dunne comeback. Because that'll be interesting to see. I would love to see that happen. I like Pete Dunne. I liked him NXT. He was in a tag team with Matt Riddle at one point. So that'll be definitely interesting to see. And see if how far that will go. But I'm glad that the Braun Bruce is over. It kind of got old real quick. I know there was heels at first and became baby faces, but it pretty much went downhill after Sheamus got injured. It seemed like WWE didn't know what to do with Pete Dunne or Butch and Holland. And Holland, you know, of course, turned on him at the Survivor Series weekend. But now it seems like he may be having a comeback. I would like to see what happens with that if he does come back. Because I like Pete Dunne. Like I said, Pete Dunne's a very good competitor. Very, very good competitor, to say the least. But I would definitely like to see what happens next with Pete Dunne. Meanwhile, on SmackDown for the night, we got Bianca Belair versus Bayley. We got that going on. One of the top matches of the night. And this is the match that I have on here. So, Bianca and Bayley have their match. So their match is Belair, of course, has her offense. She has the power and quickness. And then Bayley, you know, she does a good job keeping up with Bianca. They got good chemistry. We all know what it's going to lead to. We know it's going to lead to Bianca getting the upper hand over Bayley, as she's had in the past. But it seemed like we thought that Bayley was going to get a lot of help from Damage Control. All Damage Control did for that match is they watched back. They looked at foot. They just watched, stood at ringside, and that kept telling Bayley, "You got this. You got this. If you're supposed to be leader of Damage Control, that's what Dakota Kai was saying. In so many words, why do you need our help? You know, you say your goal is for us to get gold. You win the Royal Rumble. You don't need our much help. Do it on your own. Lead by example." So I could tell that's some frustration still with Bayley and Bayley and the Damage Control. Meanwhile, like I said, there was lots. It's some near falls. Bayley has some. Bianca has some. They kept reversing each other's stuff. I know at one point in the match, Bayley was using Bianca's hair. She tied it to the ring ropes. You could hear her announcer saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You can't do that." So she was getting Bayley while she was tied up. And then Bianca was able to unloose her braid. And then Bayley went into the rope. And Bianca started overpowering her again. She tied her up, got up there, got to the count of 10, punching her on in the corner. You know, Bianca, used to the history of Damage Control interfering all the time with Bayley, she kept looking outside her eye, see what's going to interfere, and to much her surprise, Damage Control did not help Bayley. It did not attack Bianca not once. Not even when Bianca fell out the ring. Bayley was staying in the ring, trying to play off a fake ankle injury, and Damage Control did not attack Bianca not once. While Bayley was in that ring. And Bayley looked shocked, like, "Why don't you guys help me? I need the help." They said, "No, you got this on your own." So we are slowly starting to see the turn of the split of Bayley and Damage Control. It's pretty much coming to a close very, very soon. It's going to hit its peak. So we definitely see that happening. But during the match, despite Bianca being out there and Damage Control, she was able to, get her momentum back up. She was able to get Bayley with a KOD, and then Bayley loses once again. So Bayley loses, no help from Damage Control, split still being teased. So we still gonna have Bayley and Damage Control splitting. They're gonna split for her, or she decides to split for them. But it doesn't even matter what the case may be. But Bayley's not gonna be with Damage Control much longer. We're starting to see the tease. We're starting to see everyone's splitting from. They're splitting from Bayley. They're breaking away from Bayley. And the way the story is, Damage Control is going to say we can make it without Bayley, and we're doing fine without her, since the addition of Asuka and Kairi Sane to Damage Control. So they feel like they don't need Bayley no more, and Bayley's going to stay on her own, and they're not going to help her anymore like they have been for the past, year and a half, almost 2 years. So we definitely going to see that tease coming. Could it be at the Royal Rumble? Could it be after the Royal Rumble? I believe that Bayley may eliminate everybody from Damage Control that's in the match to get back at them for not helping her. And she may be in the final 4 in the Rumble to win. I don't see her winning. I see either Nia Jax or Jade Cargill debuting of some sort, or even, I don't know, maybe it could be a surprise entrant besides Jade Cargill. But Bayley's going to get back at Damage Control. She's going to do it the Royal Rumble, where she eliminates them. And once they're being eliminated from Bayley, then the tension even rises even higher and higher. And then they're going to definitely show that it's going to be a split between Bayley and Damage Control at some point. But Bayley knew it's definitely not going to be with Damage Control much longer. It's definitely going to reach its near. And it needs to, honestly. I'm glad they're able to add more people to the group. But other than that, it's time for a change, a big change, where someone not gets added to damage control, someone is out of damage control, and it will be Bailey in this case. Or they could do it similar via Judgment Day style, when Judgment Day, when they added Finn Balor, they kicked Edge out, who was the leader and helped start Judgment Day. Something similar can happen with Bailey, or Bailey could turn on all of them and just walk out on saying, I'm done. You guys don't want to help me no more. I'm out. I'm done. That's it. So that could very well happen. That it's going to come at the Royal Rumble. I could say that. If not the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber. It will be before WrestleMania that Bailey and Damage Control is going to have some. It's going to be a split. She's not going to be aligned with Damage Control any much longer. It's going to happen very soon. We see it in a storyline every week. We see it closer and getting closer and closer. Why do you think Oscar and Kairi Sane were added to the group? Because they want Bailey out of there. Like I said, we saw with Judgment Day when Finn was added. What happened? Edge was out of there. So we saved it with Bailey. That's what they're shooting for. That's the goal. They want that to happen. And it'd be very well a good thing. Bailey needs to start winning again. Every time she's in a match like tonight, she loses. There's, like I said, there's always, or she cheats all the time. She's been healed for quite some time. It's time for a character change with Bailey, and she needs to be on her own 2 feet standing and not running some stable anymore. So those days are going to come to a very, 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 very end. So, like I said, it was a solid match telling a great story between Bailey and Bianca Belair, but enough's enough. That's what's going to happen. Meanwhile, let's see what else happened on SmackDown tonight. And we see it here, Bianca defeats Bailey. So now we have a segment for the night. I know it's shown already. Bobby Lashley, Street Profits, this stupid name called, I don't like the name of that group. It doesn't make sense to it doesn't relate to Bobby Lashley, Street Profits. I thought that name was going to come up with, is this going X that's the name of the group. That's the name of the group. It's supposed to be Pride. Why, I don't know. But that's the name of the group. He said it on his, I believe he said it on one of his social media accounts. That's supposed to be the name of the group. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what it is. But meanwhile, they got attacked by Henry Cross and AOP last week. That's the way I see it. So, like I said, so it's gonna be Bobby Lashley and Street Profits upset that Karrion Kross and AOP attacked them. He said, "You guys want to do something about it? Don't sneak behind. Don't turn lights out. Just come out. Place his head up." And you could tell Street Profits and Bobby was irritated. They want them to come out. Then we got a little vignette from Karrion Kross and Scarlett. They mentioned AOP, how dominant they've been in the past, and they're great dominant tag team in NXT. They were even tag team champions in NXT. And Paul Ellering, if I said that right, the manager. So we're gonna see a feud with these guys. It'll be Karrion Kross and AOP versus Bobby Lashley, Street Profits, their new name, the Pride, and it's gonna be a 6-man tag. We'll see it maybe at the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber. Expect this feud to go on to Elimination Chamber. It won't end at Royal Rumble. It will definitely start. It's gonna come real soon. They're gonna have a feud. Karrion Kross and AOP is a brand new faction. Bobby Lashley, Street Profits are still a relatively new faction. So it'll be a 6-man group, 6-man feud. 3 on one team, 3 on the other, and they will have their feud. And it'll probably, I can see them having a 6-man tag Elimination Chamber, maybe the pre-show. If not a pre-show, definitely on one of the undercards. If not the Rumble, definitely Elimination Chamber. So look for that to happen. Bobby Lashley, he just said, yeah, he just got tired of it. They was very angry, and they wanted to give those guys their work. But Karrion Kross did a good way introducing all Akam and Reese lost Authors of Pain, and he called Paul Aaron the most sadistic man in the world. And the new name for them is the Final Testament. That is the stable name of Karrion Kross AOP, Final Testament. Seems like a final boss pretty much. But that's the way that's going to go, and that'll be a feud with those guys. And then I know, like I said, throughout the night, nobody wanted to take a bloodline. That was continuing. We had Pre-Daily come up, and Paul Heyman was telling like only one you could tag, and then that didn't work out, and that was it. That's what came to conclusion, and no one's going to take a bloodline. That's what we got. But we did have another match. We had one more match of the evening before we got to the main event of tonight. We had Mr. himself. We had Carmelo Hayes versus the almost forgotten former Money in the Bank winner, two-time United States champion Austin Theory. They had a match. This is Carmelo Hayes' second match on SmackDown. He had a match against Kevin Owens, great match for the United States tournament, in which he lost to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens went on to win the tournament, as I mentioned earlier. Carmelo Hayes, good match. He's a great competitor. I like him. Austin Theory, I like him too, but his character, I don't know I know what they're gonna do with him. But rest of all was standing for Theory. And like I said, it was already match, not bad. But I know it was a little botch we had. Seemed like we had a botch again, just similar to Raw. That seemed like we was having. At one point in the match that Carmelo and they was on top rope, Carmelo came down. Or Theory, they both came. It seemed like Theory came down and Carmelo Hayes seemed like he almost came out of his neck. If you look during the match, referees came out. Let me see if they have a screenshot of that. I don't see a screenshot of it, but it did end via referee stoppage, and it seemed like it was another botch. We had referees in there. I know they got the X symbol when it's a real injury. I didn't see the X, but it was a botch. Carmelo and both also came down. I know it's a box. They normally do a referee stoppage like that unless something seriously happened. I don't see doctors in the ring like that. And that was the end of that match of Austin Theory versus Carmelo Hayes. That was the end of that particular match. That was the last match before the main event of the six-man. Well, supposed to be six-man tag, but it ended up being a handicap tag. Like I said, there was no partnership for the bloodline. But it seemed like we had another botch. Carmelo Sunday was out for a while. I was talking to both Carmelo and Austin. Seemed like we had another botch. Everybody seemed okay. So I don't know. It's happening on Raw now. It's happening on SmackDown. What is going on? What is going on in WWE? It is something to think about. Now, I noticed with this botch on SmackDown, also on Raw, it seemed like the ones who's botching are the lighter guys. We start with Kofi and Giovanni on Raw. Both light heavyweight guys. Now on SmackDown, you got this with Carmelo and Austin. Carmelo light heavyweight, Austin maybe close to heavyweight, barely over 200-pound guys. What is going on with these botches? I hope they stop. This does not continue before somebody seriously gets injured, whether they on Raw or SmackDown or even NXT, don't matter. So hopefully the botches stop. It don't go on this much. And I know Carmelo and Austin, they are still newer guys compared to the veterans that's in the locker room. They're newer guys. I know Carmelo Hayes on the independent circuit for maybe a few years before it comes to WWE. And Austin Theory, he's still young. He's only 26. So, like I said, I'm saying anybody was out or injured for a while. I just wanted to highlight that on the botch on SmackDown. That needs to be highlighted. Like, what is going on here? What's going on? It seemed like it was a botch there. And I don't think it was storyline either. At least I don't think so. But since that ended in referee stoppage, what do you guys think of that botch possibly happened? How that match ended referee stoppage? They need to go over these matches better with the guys that are veterans. Maybe the guys that are newer need to slow down the pace. Maybe going too fast. Who knows what the case may be? I just found it funny that this just happened on Raw, now it's happening over here. But again, accidents do happen. I'm not ruling that out either, but you want to avoid as many botches as you can as a whole. That's what I'm saying for regarding that. Now, since that match ended referee stoppage, we head to the main event. Orton, Styles, LA Knight versus Bloodline. This is what we had to for the night. Now, Randy Orton is the first one to come out during the match. And since Randy Orton's the first one to come out, he's attacked before the main event match by Solo and Jimmy. And the doctors came out saying like they wanted to tend to Randy Orton being attacked. He handed it off and he walked off. And next thing you know, AJ Styles come out, the LA Knight come out. Then we can see the disagreement between LA Knight and AJ. Then they start the match. So they start the match. It's continuing on. We get, like I said, the main event match is exactly that. It is Orton, Styles, LA Knight. Orton comes back later in the match. He comes back out later. Orton does come back. But most part, it was LA Knight and Styles. I almost say LA Styles. What am I saying? Now, at one point in the match, LA Knight was waiting for a hot tag. Styles, AJ was out there. And LA really wanted to tag. And Styles was going to tag him in. And then LA Knight saw Solo by the apron. And he went and got to him before Solo attacked him and left AJ Styles like he was being, ignored by LA Knight, like he neglected him. So he kept up with Jimmy. And then when he took care of Solo and got back to the 4-high tag, AJ was like, where were you? I need you to tag. And LA Knight was like, man, I got to tag. You didn't see that? And LA Knight was trying to tell him. AJ was not buying it. And next thing we know, Randy Orton comes back. He comes back from being injured. I figured he would come back. And AJ tagged in Orton. He did not tag in LA Knight. He tagged in Orton. Orton came in. He tagged both Solo and Jimmy. And next thing we know, Orton hits the RKO on Jimmy. And he got so for the 1, 2, 3. And there you have it. The main event team of Orton, Styles, LA Knight, it wins. Later on, we get a breakout fight with the Bloodline. Now, there's a disagreement between 3 guys. You gotta remember, Orton, LA, and AJ, they all still are opponents for the upcoming Royal Rumble. They are not going to be tagging with each other. They're going to be competing for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So they tag tonight, but that's the only time they're going to be on the same side. So with that being said, they all attacked the line guys. We saw Orton hit the RKO to Solo and Jimmy. I'm sorry, Orton to Jimmy. And attack Solo. Then we had LA Knight do the DTF on Jimmy, and then we had Orton being assisted by AJ Styles with steel steps to the face of Jimmy. And of course, they attacked the Solo as well. Now, they did a triple power bomb, shades of the Shield, Roman Reigns' old faction, where he debuted on the main roster back in 2012. They held Solo up in the air. Orton and Styles helped them up, raised them up, and then they did the rest. Power bomb through the announce table. So we just saw Bloodline getting attacked and attacked and attacked and attacked. And as you can see, the frustration between Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles all had issues with the Bloodline. So they didn't, like I said, LA Knight, Orton, Styles won, but it is far from over. These guys are going to definitely have issues down the line. So it was a good SmackDown. SmackDown was good for tonight. That's the end of that show. SmackDown to me was a good 4 out of 5. I think it was a solid show. Good promos, great storytelling. We're gonna tease a lot of breakups and feuds. We got, like I said earlier, Bobby Lashley and Street Profits. It's supposed to be a room called the Pride. They're going to have feud with the Final Testament, which is AOP and Cameron Cross and Paul Ellering. So that's teasing that feud. And of course, we got the Bayley, teasing breaking away from Damage Control. That's going to be a split. Then we have Kevin Owens and Logan Paul meeting next week on the Kevin Owens show. They're teasing that to lead to their match at the Royal Rumble for the United States Championship. Logan Paul never defends. It's still a great story told. Carmelo Hayes, despite that match they had tonight, it's the second time on SmackDown. I believe Carmelo Hayes is going to eventually be a member of the SmackDown roster. He may have some unfinished business with Trick Williams, whoever they tease with that. But if they do have any of his settled business, maybe that he'll be making his finishes on NXT. I mean, we saw that with Tyler Bate last week. Tyler Bate was on SmackDown once. Now he's part of the roster. Maybe they're following suit with Carmelo. He may move to SmackDown. It's the second time he's on SmackDown 2 weeks in a row. We see that also, Santos and Carlito are going to have a feud. Carlito attacks Santos tonight. And of course, you got the LA Knight, Orton, and Styles scenario that will be fighting for the undisputed WWE Universal title. There will be tension between those three men, whether it's with AJ versus LA or AJ versus Orton or Orton versus LA. All those three guys got tension. They all will face off against one another during that time. Like I said, it's great storytelling. I like where everything is going with as far as SmackDown goes. SmackDown, like I said, for 2024, they're going to have to really knock it out the park because they had great episodes last year. I said that a couple weeks ago here on the Red Carpet Ring. But like I said, I think that's good tonight. Good show. That was the point of the show where I got to cut the cord on X. If you want to catch more from the Red Carpet Ring on Rumble or YouTube, if you want to see more of this content. Now, SmackDown, like I said, was a great show. Definitely a great show. I'm trying to see. I know next week there's going to be some matches I believe that they're going to push for next week. I believe there's going to be some more matches as a tease of what's going to go on next week, if I'm not mistaken. But definitely, it was a good show tonight. I have no major issues with it. Like I said, with tease, a lot of stuff going on down the line. I will say that this is great leading up to the Royal Rumble. Definitely something to look forward to. And we'll see where everything will go as far as that goes. Now, since this is the end of WWE Smackdown live show commentary reaction, this is not the end. There's more I would like to discuss. I would like to switch gears and discuss something else, another story I have. I would like to highlight a certain superstar, and he was on the show tonight, and he's no other than, I got everybody saying, L.A. Knight. And this will be Wrestling Week news. Coverage of wrestler star losing steam. How much longer will his popularity last? I want to talk about LA Knight. How much longer is popularity going to last? Is he going to get the same kind of push, same kind of buzz he got last year, 2023, which is a very surprising feud? I would like to talk about, he recently did an interview with Chris Van Fleet of The Insight. I would like to react to that and discuss stuff with LA Knight, stuff about LA Knight as well. I would like to see what's going on with him. But I would play certain parts of this interview. I will react to it, and then I will describe everything of what I know about the whole LA Knight situation, see where he's going to go. You know, LA Knight, one of course, like I say, one of the most popular stars on the roster, who has risen since last year and has been continuing to rise. He literally was an overnight success, as said in the interview. But I would like to highlight certain parts of the interview and see what's going on, and and where his head is going. Let's see what's going on with popularity. With that being said, I would like to talk about the interview. Let's see where it goes. And I will play stuff now for the interview, and then I'll react to it. Let's see what Mr. LA Knight had to say about how he got to WWE. He would talk about how he got to WWE, where he would like to be his future, and what he's done on his road to get where he's at now. Basically before, current, and maybe after. So let's talk about a little bit of everything as far as the interview goes. Let's see.
The last time we talked was before Money in the Bank. Yeah. You didn't even have a t-shirt yet. I was like, it'd be a really good idea. A t-shirt. T-shirt. You're like, it's in the works. It's in the works.
It's a process, getting all that stuff done. Because I have ideas for things, and it's like, so you might try and run it through somebody. Oh, okay, well, yeah, we might do that. And I think there was also just skepticism at first. Like, is this really a thing? Is this just is this just going to be a flash in the pan? Is this just going to be, flavor of the month? And that was kind of even a thing that we had talked about and was even talked about with me. It was like, well, we don't want to give it to them too soon, because then, they might get over it. And it's like, look, fine. If that's the case and I'm not good enough to carry that, cool, let's go with that. But I understand the idea of also wanting to protect me at some point as well. But like, I have the belief in myself that I can pivot and move and adapt to whatever the situation is. So if the thought is, well, if we give it to him too soon, you don't want to give it to him too soon. But if you just try and not give it to him at all, come on, man. Like I feel like I'm better than that, and I don't mean that in like a boisterous way, but just I'm confident in what I do. I'm confident in my skills. And at the same time, I want to be able to fail, because when I fail, I get better.
Okay, so LA Knight's talking about how he had no t-shirt at first. He was talking about how, if he, see how it goes. He said they want to jump the gun by giving him a t-shirt so quick. But it seemed like as soon as the t-shirt was released, it seemed like it was good for him. It seemed like his t-shirt sold like crazy. I mean, he really set the bar with that. He really set the bar. I mean, his t-shirt really, really skyrocketed. He led the head list with Crown Jewel. I mean, he was selling this whole summer. And number one, the t-shirt, he also seen in everything. That's what's so interesting about the whole LA Knight thing. I mean, if you guys remember, even headed to Crown Jewel with match with Roman Reigns, he still was, doing his thing as far as t-shirt sales going. And it's just amazing how he literally went from one thing to the next. But LA Knight definitely, I'm definitely impressed with what he's done. Definitely good with his work. He definitely got there, no doubt about it. I'm not taking up from the man. I mean, we look here in this article, it says that he still dominates WWE t-shirt merchandise sales list ahead of Crown Jewel. And it said that a new list of top 10 merchandise sales move in October, which is what 3 months ago. And it said that he had the top items on a given website. He was holding number one ranking. So he was top with merchandise sales. And this was right before his match with Roman Reigns for the title. And here go the list here for the top 10. We had LA Knight number one. He also Cena, who always been a top merchandise seller his whole career. Well, since John Cena became, of course, a main eventer and world champion. Cody Rhodes number 3. Stone Cold number 4. Jey Uso Yee number 5. Roman 6. Tribal Chief Rhea Ripley 7. NWO 8. The late great Eddie Guerrero and another great late Scott Hall number 10. So he outsold all these current superstars and legendary superstars. So that is impressive to outsell all these people, especially in this time. And his shirt that sold the most was the black LA Knight t-shirt. And then after Cena, the light blue orange Never Give Up, when Cena came back late last year, the yellow shirt, which is very popular, that was number 3. So he had number 1 and number 3. Then if you look number 6, he had the black LA Knight t-shirt, Let Me Talk to You. So he had 3 t-shirts. Number 1, number 3, and number 6 out of 10. So he ranked all 3 out of 10 shirts. That is impressive. I haven't seen a person new like that in a while to do that. So that's why he's getting the popularity that he's getting. So, like I said, his popularity is on, about how much longer it's going to continue. It's only a matter of time where this steam is going to fall. The steam's not going to be much longer. It's only a matter of time. But LA Knight's definitely putting the work. I'm not taking nothing from him. But like I said, let's see what else he has to say. Now I know he's going to talk about his way up to WWE, and of course this happened last year. So with that being said, this is great what he's doing. Let's get back to the interview that he had with Chris Van Fleet of Insight. Let's see what else he had to say regarding this interview, because it's interesting so far. Let's continue that.
I don't know if you. how funny was it hearing the LA Knight, an overnight success? How funny was it hearing that?
Yeah. But it was. I mean,
no, it wasn't.
Well, yeah, but it was, but it wasn't. I mean, it was 20 years, and then all of a sudden, it was an overnight success. So, like, I mean,
so it was a 20-year overnight success.
Yeah, it was 20 years to get the overnight success, basically, because it's like all of a sudden, you know, you've got anywhere I've been, any other company had a fraction of the audience that we have now. So, to any of the uninitiated, most of them are seeing me for the first time. So in a certain way, it is an overnight success to the broader audience.
You know, the gift, though, that gets shared of you the most is your promo, Dave Marquez, the shoes of the champion. Yeah. Like that gif of you. Yeah.
I just tip them back a little champagne. No big deal.
So even if nobody saw NWA, they're aware that you were a thing.
Well, yeah, because, okay, so apparently I've been married twice this year as well.
Hey, congratulations.
And yeah, thank you. Even though I'm not married, it's a weird thing that once you start to climb and people start to notice you, now they start just looking for things. Now all of a sudden people are more aware of the NWA stuff, or you know, maybe even some more of the Impact stuff, where it's like, oh wait, I want to know more about this guy, and then they go start looking for that stuff, and that's where the weird articles come up about, like, well, does LA Knight have a sister? Does he have a brother? He keeps his family life very secret, and stuff like that. And then it turns out that I got married over a weekend, which was amazing that I got married that weekend, because as far as I knew, I was wrestling in the ring all that damn weekend. But somehow I found time to get married.
You know, Wikipedia thinks your birthday is November 11th.
I corrected that like probably 10 years ago, and somehow it got changed again, because even when I did the Key to the City thing a couple weeks ago in my hometown in Hagerstown, they even had my birthday list as November 11th when they put the press release. I said, no, you got to change that. It's November 1st.
It will be. Yeah. I will guarantee you, within hours of this episode being put up, it will be changed, and then some idiot will go in and change it back, and then someone else will change it.
Well, the cool thing is I get 2 birthdays essentially, at least on social media, because then I get a bunch of birthday wishes on the 1st. I get a couple scragglers on the 11th, and then it's like, oh, that's my birthday again.
We'll get back to the conversation. They'll even try to get you.
Did you not to talk anything like I did?
So LA Knight is mentioning how he was an NWA, TNA. I know he was even on the reality show, Rockhead reality show on TNT years ago. And he mentioned about that too. But LA Knight's been around for a long time, 20 years, off and on in all the wrestling promotions. And I know he did whatever he could to get to WWE. He had 2 stints in WWE, and he's currently on his 2nd one. But I know he's definitely had a roller coaster. But LA Knight definitely has worked his way to where he's at. He definitely did. Even though he's the overnight sensation, he's been around the wrestling industry the whole time. He's been around. He's been at NWA. He's been at TNA. He was known as Eli Drake. And I believe that character Eli Drake had another interview with Chris Van Fleet and other things. But LA Knight, he's definitely earned his spot. Like I said, I just think if WWE does not do something with him soon, he's going to lose steam. That's my only thing about that. That's my only thing about that. Now, I talked about his T-shirt. We're gonna go fast forward and talk about how it was the highest at WWE, and let's see what he has to say regarding his T-shirt sales.
Is selling merch month after month after month, but the first month you had it, who informed you of that?
So we were at Money in the Bank, and I was told that my T-shirt was highest selling T-shirt of the weekend, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I think we got to maybe a couple days later, and they were like, I think you're number 4 this month, or maybe that was the month before, I can't remember. But at some point then, I think the report came out somewhere online, WrestleNomics or somebody does it. And then I think August or September, I think I signed an agent, And now he lets me know every month. So I mean, we're on top of that stuff. He's like, all right, well, you're doing real well. It's you and Cody up here, and you know, it's you and Punk and this. And I'm like, cool. Well, let's get these things rolling.
It's you with a lot less pieces of merchandise too.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so much less. I mean, especially if you're looking back at even like the first month. I don't know if it was July or August, where it was the first month where I was top. I think I had like 3 things on there, and those guys each had like Roman and Cody were behind me, and they had like hundreds of items. I had maybe 3. So between all that, that's crazy. To think that you could be the number 1 spot with only a few things. And but then at that point, that's when like, all right, let's start pumping out some more shirts and you know, all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, good. Thank you
could
finally
have 17 shirts with the word on it, and all 17 would sell.
At the same time, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to exhaust everybody on that. So I'm coming up with more things that we can diversify the pack, so to speak.
Guys, Dummy is back.
And
you said Dummy the other day.
I mean, it sprinkles itself in.
It's there.
I don't want to lean on it, but
that's a T-shirt.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. There's possibly a Whose Game Is It shirt coming out that I'm working on. There's a couple other things that I'm trying to do. I try to design. Well, then again, I don't know, because half the time there's shirts coming out and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I had that. I didn't even know that was there. But like the core shirts that I wear on TV, like I design most of that stuff. Like I'll go in Photoshop and hey, let's do this and this, and I'll send it to them. They might spruce it up.
LA Knight with the Photoshop skills.
Oh man, I'm a do-it-yourself kind of guy.
You are.
I learned how to do that stuff a long time ago. Look, I can't like do Illustrator or like create things. I have a terrible visual imagination, but like if I know, okay, I want this, let me grab this and this. I know at least, you know, if I don't know, I can go get a tutorial.
Don't worry, LA Knight. I know how to illustrate stuff. Come holler at the Red Carpet Ring. Anyway, LA Knight, he talks about the high T-shirt sales that I mentioned a couple minutes ago. And he mentioned, too, that he had great ideas for his shirts. And even himself knew that he was shocked that his T-shirts would sell the way he did. So he said that since his T-shirt was 3 T-shirts out of top 10, he said when one got popular, the company wanted to push more and more and more on him. So that's amazing. That's great to hear that they're behind him. But the thing with LA Knight, are they going to be pushing him? No. I hope that he's going to get pushed, you know, and don't just use him for only T-shirt sales. Don't just use LA Knight for popularity and sell T-shirts. Do something with him, which they've done so far. He was a crown jewel in a championship match against Roman for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So I'm not going to take that away. But that's the thing. What else are they going to do with LA Knight afterwards? If that was his first year, you already put in the work to get there, to get him there. The popularity, everything, the rise. He has one of the fastest rising stars in WWE history, but he's not accomplished any championships or any accolades to his name. He's been a good fuse, but what else has he done since then? What has he done? I mean, that's the question. So that's the only thing I'm concerned about as far as LA Knight. What else can you do with him? Because you did a lot with him in his first year. So that's my only concern with that. But I'm not, like I said, that's my opinion on that. But I just, like I said, everything's going so fast with him. Because he, like I said, he had some great views. He's very entertaining. Very entertaining. So we got to see what else is going to happen with him. But like I said, some other stuff he said that I want to react to. Let's see what else he says. He said that he, you know, we'll talk about how he worked his way to WWE. We'll get to that part in a second. And talk about what he had to do to get there. Because this man really is a workhorse and he does whatever it takes to get there. Whatever it takes. So let's see what Mr. LA Knight had to say.
Because I had hit the ceiling basically at Impact. And I had an awesome time at NWA for that little bit that we were able to do it before the pandemic hit. But I knew that I needed to be, although I'm gonna tell you, during the pandemic, 2020, I remember having the conversation with my girlfriend and just being like, I gotta accept that this thing's just over. And like, nobody's taking me now at 37 or whatever it was at the time. And I just gotta make whatever money I can in any of these other companies. And I had been given Triple H's email and his phone number just before the pandemic started. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with this? I had no relationship with this guy. Like, I mean, like, we knew of each other, and like I had spoken to him like once or twice the first time I was at NXT, but like I didn't have a relationship where it was like I could just hit him up.
Yeah.
And so my relationship was with talent relations, and I'm like, well, I'm probably going to get heat if I go over their heads, so I'm just not going to mess with it. But then when I was at the point where I'm like, well, this is, you know, this ride's probably over, I was like, well, screw heat. Who gives a shit about heat? I'm messaging. So I was like, hey, look, this is what I've been doing for the last year. Here's pictures, here's videos, whatever. And then I just let talent relations know, hey, look, by the way, I sent this email, whatever, just giving you a heads up. And then that's where it was just kind of like, well, we got to talk about some things, whatever.
Did Triple H email you back?
No. So we went through the
proper channels.
Yes. Yeah. But I have to imagine that maybe I got the attention. I don't know. Or who knows, maybe he didn't even see it, and it was just me letting TR know that, hey, you know, I did this, and then us kind of having the back and forth of, you know, it's been 3 years of start and stop, and like, you said you were coming, then you weren't, then you were, then you weren't. And I'm like, I understand that there were personal reasons for this, that, whatever. I needed to take the money, but now I'm ready to take the bet. I need to do it now. If I'm ever going to do it, I got to do it now. And so they seem to be kind of appreciative of my approach and my attitude in that regard. And when we came in, I guess head writer at NXT, Johnny Russo, seemed to be familiar with my stuff that I'd done and had seemed more than willing, very actually, dare I say, a little bit excited at the idea of like being able to use me, because he was familiar with my stuff. Like, I came in and had my first meeting with Road Dogg, sent me a text message a few days before I got in, and they wanted to meet with me. It was me and Road Dogg and Johnny Russo, and we sat down in a room, and that was immensely helpful because I'm a quiet guy for the most part. I know it shocks people, but like, especially if I don't know people, and for me to be able to just sit down with those guys and just sit and bullshit, but also kind of talk about the creative direction, it just made me so much more relaxed, and I didn't feel like I was fighting the system coming in from day one, which is what it felt like the first time around.
Yeah.
And it's tough to not still get in that mindset just being in this business at all. Like, I'm always feeling like I'm fighting the system.
Okay. As you heard, LA Knight has sent an email to Triple H showing his work, and they said Triple H did not respond, but he got enough attention. He basically was persistent, and he went to shoot for the stars. He did whatever he could to get back to WWE. He, like I said, he was an NWA TNA. He worked his way. He did whatever he could to get into WWE. And I have to respect it about LA Knight, because it takes a lot of courage to just send it out like that. Some people are afraid to even go that far like LA Knight did, and he did that. And he kept his professionalism too. And he said he talked to Road Dogg, and he knew one of the talent agents, Johnny Russo. So he built a rapport with WWE because he was there before, and he got the attention of people, and this is where he's at now. LA Knight has really been on a journey. Who also had experience in acting. He was on a reality show. But main thing is he did all of this to get to WWE, and he just is just amazing. Now, what I'm thinking, they knew that LA Knight wanted this really bad to send the work in, email Triple H, and despite he says age was 37 at the time, he did not let that work against him. He still strived and kept the perseverance to get there and get to WWE no matter what. Now, I'm going to fast forward here. and get to where he's worked with WWE superstars. Some guys that are veterans, these guys that are veterans that's been in the business for a while. Now, one thing I am going to mention is that how he's going to mention how he worked with John Cena. So we'll touch into that, and I'll respond to that. Let's talk about how he feels with John Cena in just a moment here.
What were the conversations with John like backstage before you went out there?
Like that particular time or just in general?
Any of the times.
Man, you know what? That is one of the easiest guys to work with. Everything's simple. Everything is, there's not any overcomplicated thought process. It's just kind of like, hey, look, we're gonna go out there. We're gonna do our thing. It's gonna be this. Cool. Yeah, great, wonderful. But beyond that, super easy to talk to, super cool, super nice. My girlfriend was backstage at Fastlane, and he was like, it wasn't like she wanted to meet him. Hey, can I meet? He was like, can I meet her? And I'm like, yes, yeah, absolutely. And she was like thrilled that he like wanted to meet because he saw her pass by when she was going to the bathroom or whatever. And so stuff like that, like he's just super nice and cool. And like I wanted to pull him aside and just ask him a couple things, and more than willing to give me the time and any kind of words that he could give me to kind of direct me one way or the other, I feel like.
So LA Knight is mentioning how he worked with Cena for a short period of time, how Cena, when he came back during the strike of the Actors Guild strike, and how Cena, and I heard this about Cena over the years, that Cena's willing to give people advice, help them out, and do whatever he can to guide them in the right direction. How Cena's very likable backstage, of course, one of the most liked backstage guys. He wanted to be LA Knight's girlfriend. You know, he was being friendly with everyone. And he said that Cena, helped him out, gave him advice, and he said he's one of the coolest guys he ever worked with. So it seemed like I know if you're good with John Cena, Cena will make it good for you being with backstage with WWE. Cena will always mention to higher ups and whoever that, LA Knight's a good dude. He can work. He's very easy to talk to and, willing to work in the ring, promo, in-ring, whatever. But it's good that he has a good rapport with John Cena. I haven't heard too many people that not like John Cena. Some people have. Cena's not perfect, but to hear that's good with LA Knight. I seem like LA Knight's getting along with everyone for the most part. Haven't heard too much about him. There was rumors saying he had an ego backstage at one point. That could be a rumor. He does the same from his interviews. I've seen his interview with Chris Van Fleet, like I'm covering and reacting to right now, and also react to the interview that he had with Inside the Ropes. He don't seem like an egotistical guy. He seemed like he's humble. He even mentioned on his promos that he lived in his car at one point, and he was homeless, and that he's been doing this grind for 20 years. Not everything, extra, being an actor, everything. He's definitely doing whatever he can. So I like that about LA Knight. He's doing what he can. So I just like the fact that he's trying to be humble and also give advice to lead us in the right direction, and seeing what, lead us in the right direction, and seeing what he has to do to only continue to get better. It's like LA Knight only wants to get better. That's what it seems like. And I like how he is willing to learn from other people, not be arrogant and say he know everything. He learned from Cena. He's talked, like you say, he's cool with Road Dogg. He talks to everybody, even Triple H. He built a rapport with. So I have to give respect much to LA Knight for willing to do that. Now, another part of this interview, he's going to mention how his recent work with The Miz and how he was displeased with his work with The Miz. So let's get into that right now. And let's see what happens with The Miz and Why did he feel a certain way? Let's head to that in just a moment.
Your promos have always been on point, but I feel like you going toe to toe with the Miz stepped it up just a little bit.
Yeah,
like you guys were
well, and Miz was really bringing it to the point where, like, I remember a couple guys in the back just being like, "Wow, I feel like this is like best work Miz has done in a while." Coincidentally, I felt like it was some of the worst work I'd done in a while. So, God, I hate pulling the curtain back a lot, but
just a little bit.
I'm not a good planner. I like to be off the cuff, and I like to kind of just listen and react. But sometimes in these scenarios, when you're doing this, you have to plan a little bit more, just because there's so many moving parts and things like that, and people want to know where you're going and whatever. But in the past, other places I've worked, it's just kind of, all right, well, we're going to go out there. We're going to generally talk about this. Okay, cool. I'll say some stuff. They'll listen to me, we react and go back and forth. And in this case, it was like, now I had kind of like planned, canned stuff, but it's like, I don't know, whatever I'm thinking or saying at like 3:00 is not going to be the same stuff at 8:00. And so where I should have probably just dropped some of that stuff and just listened and reacted and just shot back that way, it was like, I got to keep this stuff because we got time. We got I got to hit the time and they're expecting this. And so some of that I was just kind of like, this just doesn't feel like my best. And some of it's that, but that's also, I think, a bit of the process and still adapting, because I'm still that old school, let's go out and call it out there. Let's go out there and do it on the fly. And let's just kind of, I'm going to listen and react. I don't want to know, and I don't want you to know, because I want it to be fresh. I want it to be real. Like, I don't want you to already know what I'm going to say, because then it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to react. No. Let it be real. And then that way I can really digest what you're saying to me, and then just bring it back. So, but yeah, but I mean, but at the same time, I think that feud in general, rivalry, whatever you want to call it. Some people hate the word feud. So, that in general, though, I think helped elevate us both in certain ways, because I mean, I think it brought out a passion in him, because I think there are similarities between us, even though I think we're different, but we have some similarities to us. He was doing some great work. I feel like I was doing some great work. And at the same time, it was kind of like showing a little bit of adversity, because for so long, like I said, I was floundering and I wasn't doing much. And now it's like, all of a sudden now there's a little bit of elevation. So, okay, let's show a little bit of adversity. Let's show, here's the guy who is established. He's been there for a while. At the same time, I'm going to get under his skin. He's going to get under my skin a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm going to kick his ass. And so that's really.
So LA Knight think that his recent promos with the Miz was trash as part of his feud. During that feud, he said he don't think. Well, I wonder why. Is it because LA Knight may not think he could match up to the Miz because the Miz is so good on the mic? And Miz, is an accomplished veteran. Or maybe LA Knight was too hard on himself, because I believe that feud was great. Now, I know Miz did a great job mocking LA Knight. I don't think his promo work was bad. I mean, this was one of his first major feuds. It was a good way to start off, but I don't think it was terrible to say that. I think LA Knight may be one of those guys that he's his toughest critic, and maybe that's why he thought that it was like that. It may have been one of his worst, and not it was not good feud. But I think his promo work and stuff was good, and like he said, it helped elevate himself and the Miz. So I don't think it was terrible. I think it was great to see. I think he was just giving himself a hard time. But at the same time, that's good, because that means he's pushing himself harder and harder. Even though he's getting a push and he's getting TV time, major TV time now, he still got his foot on the gas, not on the brake. So that's good that LA Knight feels that way, that he's pushed himself harder and harder every day to get to the point where he needs to be. So I admire that about LA Knight. So I have no problem with that at all. So it's good though. I really like the fact that he, gave credit to himself in the Miz. He wasn't just highlighting himself. So that's very, very good to see that. But like I said, LA Knight is very admirable of where this guy came from. This guy was working all these organizations. He was even homeless, and he still did whatever he could to get where he needs to be. He did not give up on himself ever, not once. And that's very, like I said, that's something I cannot take away from that. I mean, this man he was gonna put in the work regardless. Never ever give up. I mean, how can you not like someone like that? You know? And he does not care what people think of him either. That's another thing I like about LA Knight. He does not care what folks think of him. He's shown that. He stated that, and even in this interview, it is what it is with him. And that's the kind of attitude you got to have if you want to make it, especially in the wrestling business when the competition's fierce nowadays. But yeah, this is definitely something to take in heed. Do not give up on yourself. You always put in the work. You're willing to put in the work. So I got to give kudos to LA Knight on that. I know that's some people, they don't get their way one time, they give up. That's not the case with LA Knight. He does not give up on himself. He gambles on himself, and it paid off at the end of the day. That's why I admire about LA Knight. He did not ever give up on himself. And he doesn't plan on to ever. The hard work's definitely there. He definitely has the hard work, and he definitely has the work ethic to get where he needs to be. So that I cannot take from this man at all. I mean, this man's been everywhere. Now we'll go to another part of the interview. Almost done. It's just a great reaction to this man, and I want to get to the point of everything he's done. He's also been an actor. Yes, he's been an actor. He's been on reality shows. I mean, this man's done it all. Let's see what he has to say regarding that. So I will cover that right now. Let's see what he said about his recent experience on being on The Rock show, The Hero, back in TNT, I believe in 2013, 2012, over 10 years ago. So let's see what Mr. LA Knight got to say. Yeah.
Avenue. That's actually why I ended up on The Hero with The Rock, which 3 people watched. I did not ever want to do reality. I never wanted to be in reality TV. For me, that just it was not something I wanted to do. It was not something that was attractive to me. But I was thinking to myself, if I'm on a show with The Rock, maybe there's some way I can like form a relationship, or any Steve Austin, somebody, whoever would have a show, but here he's got a visible show. I'm like, maybe then that's my way in. And a lot of people think that that's why I got signed the first time. But incidentally enough, before we even shot that show, I had I think I flew to do the show in Panama February 17th of 2013. We had a tryout February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Tampa, and I was already told I was going to be signed then, but we kept it hush until I went there in July of 2013 to open the PC, the Performance Center for the uninitiated. So my initial plan, I think most people think.
So LA Knight, that's interesting. He was an actor on a reality show with The Rock called The Hero. Like I said, that was, like he said, 2013. He didn't even want to do that kind of show. This is crazy. He didn't want to do the show. His real name is Sean Ricker, I believe. And I remember this show, and I remember watching this show. I never knew that was him the whole time. This is LA Knight. He looks totally different. His hair is longer. He has no facial hair. Of course, he's a little younger, obviously, because it was 2013, 11 years ago. I never knew this was him the whole time. I remember seeing him on the show, and I don't even think he won this whole thing. He was not the hero, if I'm not mistaken. But he said he wanted to use being an actor to get over, to get a spot, build rapport with The Rock, and get to WWE. He was trying to use that reality show to get to WWE, and as he said, it did not work. He said they already assigned him due to his previous work, other wrestling promotions. They just kept it quiet. But I did not know. Maybe because he was signed, maybe that's how he got shined on a reality show. But I did not know he was trying to use that as a stepping stone to get into WWE. So that's interesting with LA Knight. I did not know that at all. But it's very interesting to say that. To see that and for him to say that he did not like acting. I thought he was wanting to do acting. It didn't work out for him. He never wanted to do it. He just wanted to get into WWE. The fact he was willing to go this far, not just wrestle on promotions, get attention, he was willing to go on a reality show on TNT The Hero with Rock, one of the biggest stars in the world, just to get noticed by WWE. That's how much LA Knight loves the business. That's how much he wants to get into WWE. He was going to do whatever it takes. He has a whatever it takes perseverance attitude. And I never heard nobody go this far into getting to WWE. For a guy, I'm saying, you never really hear that. You hear women get on reality shows. We don't hear guys go to reality shows to get there and go through all these promotions. He went through every obstacle you could think of, and he's there. So that's the thing. That's the crazy part about this. That's wild that he was willing to do that, and it worked out for him. Even though this did not get him into WWE, like he said, it still worked out well for him. He was not going to give up on himself, and that's what it takes in order to reach your goal. You got to do what LA Knight did when he was known as Sean Rigger, his real name. But that is wild that LA Knight was willing to do that. I mean, there's no other words to say about that. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just he's willing to do all of that. Now, with that being said, that's pretty much it. The only thing is I have some questions I want to ask myself. LA Knight, like I said, despite him having a great run last year, the major question is he losing steam? Is LA losing steam? That's the major question I want to know. Is he losing steam? Will he be pushed in 2024 like 2023? Now, my question is, since he was pushed so high last year, will he push the same way? Unfortunately, I think with LA Knight, due to his popular rise and his high T-shirt sales, 3 T-shirt sales in the top 10, I just don't think that. I think he's going to eventually, at some point, I'm not saying right now, I think LA Knight popularity is going to drop. I don't think his rise is going to be as high, and I think it may stunt, his growth may be stunt a little bit this year, if nothing major happens with him, because he was pushed so much, and we've seen this happen with major stars. I know they're not as popular as LA Knight. I know he's different, but if you push someone that high and nothing happens with him, as far as, give him a title or a big feud, I think he's going to rise down, and I think that he's going to regret not doing it that way. It's just pushed him sooner. So LA Knight, he wants to win a championship this year. He wants to win a championship, and I think if nothing happens with him, that it's going to hurt him in the long run. And my thing is, when LA Knight is popularity do go down, because it has to go down at some point. It may not, but we have to have the what ifs in there. If he does drop, how can you get him back to where he was? And I believe that with his whole, popularity, and since he's on a stacked roster on SmackDown, where we got the likes of Randy Orton, we got AJ Styles. This is SmackDown. Bobby Lashley, other guys, and then we're not going to mention Raw. Now, if he was on Raw, probably a lot worse, but I think he's going to eventually go to Monday Night Raw due to his popularity. I said it before, when guys are popular on SmackDown, or women too, when the next draft comes, they put them to Raw, the number one flagship show, test them out, see how they're going to do on the number one program, see if they can hang with the best of them, as they like to say. And I think LA Knight, with his popularity, I believe his popularity that he's not going to be able to capitalize on it if nothing's done with him soon. I mean, something has to happen with his character very soon. I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. LA Knight, he was the 2023 breakout star of the year. He was that. That was voted by Fox. That award was given to him. So LA Knight is definitely a star, a rising star at that. But I believe that if they don't capitalize on his breakout star of the year, then he's going to fall in the cracks. He's going to fall. I mean, I know he's not popular like LA Knight. Look at Austin Theory. They threw the Money in the Bank contract on him. They had him, again, the United States title twice, and he did nothing with it. That's an example of someone being pushed too fast. But LA Knight, what I'm trying to get is, if you don't do things at the right time, or you move too fast or too slow, that it's going to hurt the character of that particular superstar. That's why I use Austin Theory as an example. It can hurt it if it's pushed too fast, too slow. LA Knight would not be pushed too fast; it would just be too slow. But he is a rising, very popular star, and people have compared him to the likes of Rock and Stone Cold, Ric Flair with promos, and of course the EFT, similar to a cutter or a stunner, and he got his elbow moves to the people's elbow. So he's a combination of today and yesterday. He's a old school type of guy, as he said in the interview, and of course a little bit of modern and old school tradition wrestling. He's a combination of everything. That's what I like about LA Knight. He's very versatile. He's good on the promo, obviously, good on the mic, and he's good in the ring too. I just hate for WWE to drop the ball on this guy, because he was breakout star of the year. He was number one in t-shirts. He had 3 popular t-shirts on, and he got one of those t-shirts on in this photo right here, the black one, the black LA Knight shirt. But I believe if WWE does not capitalize on his popularity and his current success as a WWE superstar, then his steam is going to run out. His popularity may drop, and then by the time you do push, it'll be too late. They already moved on to the next popular star, the next future big name of WWE. So that's why I believe may happen with LA Knight. But other than that, though, LA Knight is doing a great job on WWE. Words can't be described how great he's done. But I just hope they strike while the iron's hot, and they wait rather sooner than later, because he needs a push, and I'll root for LA Knight to get that push. And that's all I have regarding the Wrestling Week news. The coverage is thoughts and reactions on LA Knight. How much longer will his popularity last? And also, is the wrestling star losing steam? Thank you all for coming out. Did SmackDown, and of course, I want to cover LA Knight to see what happens with him. Where does he go from here in 2024? Following, of course, being the 4-way match for the WWE Universal title. But thank you all for coming out. Let me know what you think in the live chat and in the comment section below. What did you guys think of this of the whole reaction and thoughts on LA Knight. Soon 2 videos will pop up. One will be current champion set to break 2 records in 2024. The next video will be Pro Wrestling Topics Today discussion part 3. Until then, it is OUT.